Hey guys, what's up? It's Rain, and I'm about to show you the official 1v1 tier list for Multiversus. Now, all of these choices that I'm going to show you why I made them are all based upon top player ratings, top player opinions, and total percentage win rate across every level on every platform thus far. So, without further ado, let's dive straight into it now. Alright folks, so here we go. This is every character currently in Multiversus minus LeBron. Now, the reason why LeBron isn't added in this, and I don't want to put LeBron in this, is because, you know, technically you could put him at S tier right now. But he's experimental, which means that you won't be able to use him at EVO. EVO is the $100,000 2v2 tournament that is going to be hosted this next coming August weekend, August 6th. And it's going to be incredible. But LeBron will not be playable as he is an experimental character. All experimental characters are not allowed to be played at EVO. I believe Iron Giant's not allowed to be played at EVO as well. So, we're going to dive into the 1v1 aspect though. Who is the best? Why are they the best? And then kind of break down from there based upon different analysis. So, number one, we're going to start with the S tier. All around, the number one character so far from everybody is Bugs Bunny. You have the number one 1v1 player and the number one 2v2 player in the world, both playing Bugs Bunny, and it's incredible. And then you have, big shout out to Mirror Man. Then you have Sandstorm, who's the number 2 Bugs Bunny in the world now, absolutely popping off in 1s and 2s. Bugs Bunny just has an amazing kit. His side air with his feet where he kicks is just completely disgusting, followed up with his bat, with his up air, is just super good at punishing anybody and getting super early KOs. Plus his projectile kit is just out of this world. Absolutely phenomenal character, extremely good, hands down the best character in the game. All right, number 2, and this is a close number 2. It's going to be Velma. Now, a lot of you, it might not make sense initially at first, especially since this is like 1v1s, but Velma's projectile kit and her Sair and her Nair are just absolutely impenetrable. If you play Velma correctly, you can easily 0 to death KO your opponent every single time. Now, the biggest thing with Velma, obviously, is you have to know how to use projectiles, and you have to have a solid understanding of your cooldowns and the spacing that you have. And then you also have to have a very strong ability to, when your opponent engages, to either use your Nair or use your Sair. That's it. Pretty much, if you can press X, you can press Y, and then you can press, light heavy, side heavy. You can pretty much win any match if you do it efficiently with correct spacing. So, Velma, hands down, number 1 2v2 character, and an extremely good pick for 1v1s as well. All right, number 3. Number 3 that I'm going to be throwing in here now is going to definitely be Shaggy. Now, this might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion for Shaggy being number 3, but I'm going to tell you right now, number 4 is going to be Batman, but Batman's going to be A tier. A lot of people are going to get mad right now. They're going to be like, but the Batarang, da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to tell you, the reason why I have Shaggy at S tier is because Shaggy, when the next big patch comes out after EVO, nobody's going to touch Shaggy. They're not going to do anything to Shaggy. Shaggy's just kind of been slowly this unsung hero that is able to just do so much damage. He can confirm KOs literally with pretty much every single move in his kit. He's able to have the largest high, Sair heavy attack in the game with the furthest range, and plus that perk that gives him Ultra Instinct at 100 damage. It's insane. Pretty much what that does is, let's say you're Shaggy, you're getting your cheeks clapped, right, da-da-da-da-da, and like they go for an aerial against you, they have 45 damage. You spot dodge an aerial, and then you could just uppercut and get an instant KO because you just got put to 100 damage. You got your instant Ultra Instinct catch. Shaggy is incredible. I think his downlight is the best downlight in the game with his stomp kick with the purple, so the guard block engage. Absolutely, I can't believe that character's gone so untouched. And it's quite impressive. It's honestly quite impressive. All right, now we're going to be moving on into the A tier. So A tier is going to be first up, is going to be Batman. Batman is extremely good. Now, the reason I don't have him in S tier is because he's going to get nerfed into the ground. They've already made massive adjustments. They've talked about it where they're going to do a cooldown on his grapple. They're going to do more cooldowns on his Batarang, and they're going to reduce overall his speed. Pretty much Batman in early access was complete trash, and now he's at least, extremely viable, extremely fast, and has insane combo KO potential, and just the overall speed of the Batarang with how it comes out and it being in his light attack kit and not necessarily a projectile independently just opens up so many opportunities for Batman. Batman currently right now is A tier, but I'm not keeping him in S tier because he is going to get a fat nerf. We'll have to see what kind of comes after that, though. So next person we're going to have, though, is Finn. Finn is Finn is what I would call the beginning player crusher, okay? So anybody who is new to the game or like medium level at the game playing it, Finn absolutely dominates them. And it's because Finn is a horizontal fighter, assassin, who is very, 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 very good at pretty much breaking any guard combo you could ever have by being able to move with his heavy attacks. Finn is one of the only characters in the game that can actually charge up a heavy attack and then move across the map left and right, charge for as long as possible. Also, he has his upgrades, which give him insane speed and other stuff extremely early on. Finn could be S tier right now, but again, I think he's one of the characters that's going to get nerfed the hardest in terms of the amount of gold that drops, how long it takes to upgrade to get max speed, as well as the prio that he currently has in all his heavy attack moves. But Finn, if you're looking to crush some people right now, early in climb elo, I 100% recommend to play Finn. He's very easy to play, extremely, extremely good. All right, up next is going to be an unpopular pick that a lot of people wouldn't expect, but Tom and Jerry. Now, again, this is for 1v1s. Tom and Jerry is so good. Is so good. And I think the reason why this would be a great pick for people to take right now before the next big patch drops is because Tom and Jerry really hasn't had any complaints. So the biggest thing about player first games, which as you can say in the name is player first, is they kind of they obviously put the players' intentions and what the community wants before everything else. And that's why you've seen massive nerfs come to characters like Taz, right? Taz has been completely gutted. Massive nerfs to Iron Giant. Iron Giant's been completely gutted. And I'll kind of dive deeper into that too as well. But Tom and Jerry is one of those characters who is the most projectiles in the game, hands down, has phenomenal KO confirm options between his down air and his up air, even without Jerry. And then when he does have Jerry, just absolute insane stage control, insane prio on moves, even when he ties Jerry to the rocket. Tom and Jerry is a phenomenal character to pick up right now because he's probably barely going to get touched, if anything, maybe even buffed within the next patch right now. He's one of the least played characters, and that is because he does have a very high skill ceiling. He is very fun. He's a very good character. And overall, 10 out of 10 recommend. That's probably one of my favorite characters right now, actually, Tom and Jerry, just for how balanced and how good he is as well. All right, up next, we're going to be moving into the fourth and final person for the A tier in 1v1s, and that is going to be Arya. All right, so a lot of people might not agree with this one, but the reason why I'm putting Arya in the A instead of the B is because Arya, the only thing that holds her back from being an S is that Arya is the lightest attack, what's the terminology? The lightest weight, has the lowest weight out of any character in the game. And obviously, the less weight you have, the greater knockback force when you're hit, and the earlier you can be KO'd at. So Arya's kit is extremely good if you become a master with it, but also it is very, very, very matchup oriented. So what I mean by that is Arya plays very well into characters where she can string together unique combos and get early KOs to the top of the map. But if Arya has to go against absolute tanks, people like Superman or Garnet, who have a lot of armored moves that are prio, they're going to absolutely curb stomp the heck out of Arya, right? And that's a massive thing for Arya, is if she's not be able to string together combos, then she'll die. She'll literally die at like 70 HP to most heavy attacks, anything along those lines. So very good character, very unique kit, but definitely high risk, high reward kind of character. And if you do end up playing against tanks consistently, you got to find a way to learn those KOs to really get them. Sometimes popping your face steal for the neutral stun works well as trying to go above to get them too. But again, you know, it's a big risk. It's always a big risk going to the top. All right, up next in 1v1s, we are going to have, in the B tier now, is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is, okay, so just to break this down, from everywhere now on, from B tier and below her is, in my opinion, either all the balanced, 100% truly balanced characters, or characters that could use buffs or have just been severely nerfed, okay? Just to break that down to the tiers level. So think of these like it's like, okay, kind of OP and then OP as fuck, okay? That's pretty much just this. So B tier, I believe Wonder Woman is the most balanced character in the game. They did a great job with her kit. In 1v1 potential, her lasso is awesome for KO confirms, also for sustain. Her down heavy also gives her a shield that basically grants moving armor on any hit she does. She has, you know, limited abilities with KO confirm options, but has massive spring potential to just build up huge damage loads early on and to really kind of create, you know, very technical play style, as she is a little bit slower. But if you're able to hit nice spot dodges, little dashbacks, or even GCs in the air, you can then kind of rotate downward into some awesome KO confirms with your down air, into your up air, lasso, pretty much anything. Probably my favorite character if you want to learn like good combo strings, definitely play Wonder Woman, 10 out of 10. All right, next is going to be Superman. So a lot of people would probably be surprised here. They're going to think Superman's not balanced, but in ones, he definitely is because, I mean, he has massive counters. So Superman has the lowest range in the game if you don't include his side heavy and his side heavy in the air, okay? So when he's flying, Superman, when he grabs you, he can throw you around, and then also when he charges up his punch, and he can go across half the screen. If you disinclude both of those, because both of those, I will say, at a high play level, are very readable, and you can dodge them extremely easily, okay? You can dodge and punish them extremely easily. So Superman struggles immensely against pretty much every single character here. Every single character here. Any character with projectiles beats the absolute shit out of Superman, besides Arya Stark, right? But you have Finn, who has prio moves against armor that break armor. You have Bugs, Velma, and Jerry with huge, massive projectiles that are coming out. Batman with the Batarang spam as well. And then you have Shaggy, who can just backdash then out prio with his side heavy attack as well. So that's the reason I have Superman here, is because I think he's, obviously he's, you know, there's certain matchups where he could just beat the shit out of people, right? Like if he goes against a Wonder Woman, anybody who's like an up-close, non-projectile character, he could absolutely dominate. Even like a Harley Quinn or a Garnet or like a Taz or a Steven, he could just pop off. But besides that, he definitely has like his weak points in his inability to rage, as well as his range attacks as well. His freeze is pretty awful for ones, very good in twos, and his laser eyes are very easy to counter once people understand all they have to do is jump. So very hard for Superman mains to engage and dominate all levels of characters here, but they do obviously have favorite matchups that they go against as well. All right, next one is going to be Jake. Jake the dog, in my opinion, is one of the most balanced characters now. If you guys remember him, if you might not know, in early access, and even in alphas, Jake was just ridiculous. He was like his Sayer, so his like stretchy punch was just super OP, absolutely ridiculous, could do so much damage over a period of time, and it was just one of the most awful moves in the game. And then you had a skateboard that was unpunishable. It just stacked over and over again, and pretty much he was just the most spammy character you could ever imagine that could just get a shit ton of hits in and then run like hell away, and then as you try to chase, hit you again while he's running away. Super frustrating. Now, a lot of Jake's stuff's been, I don't want to say nerfed, but more finely tuned to not be as spammy, to not be as OP, and because of that, we see Jake have consistently, you know, decent performances in 1v1 tournaments, as well as different aspects as well on climbing the ladder for the top 100 leaderboards. But Jake's in a really good spot right now, in a solid character. I don't really see many nerfs coming to him. All right, up next we have Garnet. Garnet's going to be your B tier for 1v1s. So Garnet's tricky. Very high skill ceiling. The good news is you're not going to see any nerfs for her. If anything, you're going to see maybe some buffs. She is extremely good with her light attack that builds into an undodgeable armored attack, as well as her projectile by shooting her fist, where if you get the right perk, it drops a portal, and then you can actually teleport to the portal as like a free use of your down special as well. Garnet, extremely good at ones, but again, one of those characters that, kind of like Superman, you have to play very sophisticated, and if you're going against characters like Velma, Bugs, or Tom and Jerry, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But the good thing is with Garnet, though, her neutral ability, where she creates this kind of dance field, actually blocks projectiles. There's not a cooldown on it either. So if you can master Garnet efficiently, technically, in my opinion, you could move all the way up into an S tier. If you can master that with Garnet, you could be S tier. All right, next we're going to be moving to now is the C tier. And remember, this is for 1v1s. This is for 1v1s. And we're going to come out first with Harley. All right, we're going to come out first with Harley. So if you guys all know Bugsy, Bugsy is the #1 Harley player in the world. He has had phenomenal performances all throughout closed alpha, early access, and even now in open beta. But he has kind of been the main point who has shown pretty much the entire Multiversus community that Harley is just, what's the word? Inefficient. Inefficient in comparable to her other competitive characters that obviously you could play instead of her. And the reason why that is because she has a longer input lag on moves. She got nerfed a ton after being a dominant force in the closed alphas, and because of that, she really hasn't gotten any buffs to kind of pick her speed up to what made her so special as being the fastest character in the game initially. Now, pretty much what it is Batman is just the much better version of Harley with an even better projectile that's part of his lighting kit. That's pretty much where we're at right now with both Harley and Batman, is they've kind of reversed roles completely after the most recent nerfs, and because of that, Harley is going to be chilling at the C tier. Up next for 1v1s, we're going to be having Steven. So Steven Universe, pretty much the one, all right, he is the hardest character in the game to perfect, and it's just because it takes such an analytical mind to know where to place his specials, which are like his little shield beams that you could obviously bounce your opponent off for infinite damage combos. Now, Steven, before the most recent patch, Steven basically had a 0 to 80 combo where you could just spam nair, dare, nair, dare, nair, dare. Shout out Flash Tyree for showing us the tech. And, you know, after that pretty much Multiversus in the most recent patch is like, okay, we getting rid of that. We'll keep Steven the same, yada, yada, yada. But getting rid of that has kind of made it, like, extremely hard for Steven players to find any type of consistent outcomes for true combos to put up a lot of damage. So Steven is a good character, and if you can pop the watermelon early and get a little bit of help along those lines, you know, he can be viable, but in no way, shape, or form does he truly have the advantage or dominance in pretty much any matchup currently against characters in Multiversus. So because of that, we have him on the lower end of this tier list. All right, up next is going to be Taz. So Taz, the reason he's at C, although his most recent nerf wasn't as severe as what people expected, the reason he's in a C tier is because it's made a massive impact already on the leaderboards, on the play rate of the character, all sorts of stuff. And if you don't know what they did, they pretty much gutted his tornado completely, reducing total time, reducing total prio, reducing total force behind the push so it doesn't KO as early. Pretty much taking his best move and his main engagement move and just completely gutting it, right? Which was as expected. But they did talk about how after EVO, the next main patch that they would have would be something that they would then address Taz and really kind of refine that move to make it more useful, but a lot less spammy for his kit. So that's why Taz currently in the C tier. Yes, he still has some decent moves in his kit, but until that tornado is finalized, there's no point in mating him because he's not going to be proven to be a reliable character due with the meta. All right, next up, we're going to have our C tier and our final C tier. That's going to be Reindog. Reindog is the C tier. The reason why Reindog is in the C tier, not the B tier, because a lot of people actually see Reindog as a pretty decent 1v1 legend. Reindog, we have at the bottom of the C tier, second to last, is truly because of one big flaw with Reindog, is that Reindog has one of the biggest hitboxes in the game, but is the third lightest character in the game. So what that means is you have Arya, who's the lightest, Harley Quinn, the second lightest, but then Reindog, who's the third lightest. And to kind of put this in comparison as being a support character with Steven and Velma, Velma used to be, I can't remember exactly what it is now, but Velma was the 5th heaviest character in the game, and then you had Steven, who was at like the 7th heaviest character, 8th heaviest character in the game. So with Reindog being not only the lightest support, but having the largest hitbox between the three, already puts him at a massive deficit. Now, additionally on top of that too, obviously all of Reindog's moves are established basically by getting fireballs and the lightning gem going initially, and then building up a ton of damage with prio and stuff like that. Well, with the current meta being projectiles and bugs and Velma and Batman and Tom and Jerry just being able to just throw a whole bunch of shit at you initially while you're trying to set up your stuff, it pretty much makes it about impossible to get your prio going with your projectiles early on. And because of that, Reindog just kind of feels a little you know. He does, like, if you're going against like a Superman or a Wonder Woman, or, you know, maybe even like a Jake or a Steven, sure, Reindog feels good. But when you're going into the top level competition in this game, it's just not going to get it done. And so last but certainly not least, the last character that we have, and the reason I have it here, Iron Giant, is going to be a D tier here, is because Iron Giant's not a finished character, okay? And it's really important that I say that because Iron Giant has had a ton of revamps already with a bunch of moves that were broken. We saw Iron Giant being completely dominant on the leaderboard. The top 5 out of the top 10 players in the world were all using Iron Giant initially on the leaderboards and climbing. Now that Iron Giant's pretty much had all his abusive tech removed, where you can't just spam the same thing and get instant prowl for 0 to death, it's definitely kind of opened up a bit more of his flaws, where Iron Giant has this, obviously the largest hitbox in the game, can get, you know, absolutely combo the heck out of, forcing them to eat their scrap and then pop their neutral ability early on, where people can just run away and kind of hide from it. But again, when Iron Giant has to go against characters like Bugs or Velma or Tom and Jerry, I mean, it's about near impossible for Iron Giant to even have a chance to win. Just with the amount of projectiles that come out, him being so big, it's almost impossible. Literally, Bugs, when he drops the safe, you can actually hit it with an up air, and it'll actually, no matter where Iron Giant is, if Iron Giant's just standing on the map, it'll hit Iron Giant. It'll hit Iron Giant no matter what. Whereas for like a normal character, obviously, if you do an up air on it, it would go above their head. So that's kind of the main thing with Iron Giant. He's not a finished character. He's still an experimental, so he's not going to be active for Evo. But currently in 1v1 situation as well, there's just he's not finalized. He's not finalized. He needs to be tweaked a bit more, and you know, due to the uncertainty of his future, we're gonna have to put him at the bottom of the tier list currently for Multiverse. And again, honorable mention LeBron, another experimental character. LeBron is I put LeBron at A tier to S tier right now. Massive combo potential. You can literally sit there and spam your basketball over and over again. He needs to get, he's gonna get nerfed. He's gonna get revamped after Evo. Obviously gonna address some of his OP stuff, but ultimately, he's an extremely good 1v1 character and an even better 2v2 character. Probably the best 2v2 character besides Velma right now as well. So that's going to wrap up our tier list for 1v1 with Multiverses after patch 0.1. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what characters you feel are useful. Let me know what characters you feel like suck. And let me know what characters you want to see come in the game to dominate with 1v1s in your own as well. My name is Rain Raps. I appreciate y'all. Drop me a follow on Twitter, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace!